Hello, and welcome to CDOT's online compliance training. In this video, we will discuss the process for making changes to your DBE participation records in B2G Now. The method for modifying any DBE commitments on a CDOT project will vary depending on whether the contractor is in the pre-award or post-award stage. If you are in the pre-award stage of the project, you will make any modifications to DBE commitments in your utilization plan in the B2G Now system. If you are in the post-award stage of the project, you will complete CDOT Form 1420 and submit this with a request to modify your current DBE commitment to the project engineer and the regional civil rights specialist for your project. If your submitted utilization plan is reviewed and there is a need to change the information within, you will receive a notification that your utilization plan has been returned for modification and resubmittal, and you will have 2 calendar days to amend the utilization plan and return it to CDOT. Otherwise, if you find yourself in need of changing information that is listed in your utilization plan before the award is granted, this is the process to submit these changes to CDOT through the B2G Now system. A request to modify and resubmit a utilization plan typically involves a request to substitute, modify, reduce, waive, or terminate one or more commitments listed in the initial utilization plan. Some examples of situations that could be considered for termination and/or reduction are DBE capacity issues that result in an inability to perform work that was previously subcontracted and included in the initial utilization plan, or a reduction or change in the amount of work to be performed on the contract by means of either contractor efficiency or elimination of work through CDOT. Any and all terminations or reductions on a contract must be approved by CDOT. In order for a termination or reduction in plan work to be approved, you must be able to show good cause for the change. Some examples of what may constitute good cause are a DBE's failure or refusal to execute contracted work, a DBE's failure to perform their work consistent with current industry standards, a DBE's failure to meet their specific bond requirements, a DBE becoming bankrupt or insolvent, or otherwise exhibiting credit unworthiness, the suspension or debarment of a DBE on the contract, the revelation that a DBE is not a responsible contractor, if a DBE voluntarily withdraws and in doing so has provided written notice to CDOT of this withdrawal, if a DBE has misrepresented their eligibility to receive DBE credit for their work on the contract, or if the owner operator of a DBE dies or becomes disabled to a degree that leaves them unable to complete the contracted work. This is not an exclusive list of what is considered good cause for a termination or reduction of work, which is why each request is reviewed by CDOT individually. It should be noted that elimination of contractual work on the part of CDOT is not automatically considered good cause for a reduction or termination request. Because the contract goals are set per project, if CDOT eliminates an area of work, both the goal and commitments of the contract still remain in place. Any modifications to work commitments, including any need for a waiver of goal requirements, must be approved by CDOT. Any comments on the contents of the utilization plan and the requested changes will be included for your view in both the email and upon viewing the returned utilization plan in the B2G Now system. To access your utilization plan for modification, you will begin by logging into the B2G Now system via the link in the notification email or at contracts.codot.gov. Your assigned utilization plans will be displayed in the utilization plan section of your dashboard on the B2G Now homepage. Current and previous utilization plans will be listed with their corresponding statuses, and any plans that still require action will be shown in red font. To access the list of plans corresponding to each status, click the status description or the number to the right of the status description. The list of utilization plans will include information to help identify each plan. To edit or update a utilization plan for resubmission, begin by clicking the open link to the left of the utilization plan that is labeled as returned. You will be taken to the Utilization Plan Management page where you can make any necessary or requested changes. To make changes to Step 1, where you've provided bid information for this utilization plan, click the Fill in Utilization Plan Details button. Enter any necessary changes, attach any additional files or documents you may wish to include, and add any comments you'd like. For example, you can note what changes you may have made in this section so there is a record of the update when viewing it in the future. Click the Save link to save your updates to this section and proceed to any changes to be made in Step 2. Step 2 is where you will be able to edit and update information about the subcontractors on the project. Please be aware that this is the process for modifying or updating DBE commitments in the pre-award stage of the project. Changes to the information contained in your utilization plan can be made using the following process: prior to or after submission of the utilization plan, but only before the project has been awarded. If the project has already been awarded, you will need to contact the project engineer and regional civil rights specialist for the project to inform them of the requested changes and include a completed Form 1420. In order to substitute one subcontractor for another in your utilization plan, you first will locate the subcontractor you wish to replace in the subcontractor list. Once you've found the subcontractor you wish to change, select the View link to the right of the subcontractor name. This will take you to the subcontractor information page where you will select Edit to edit the subcontractor information. You will also need to attach a completed Form 1420, the DBE Plan Modification form, in the Documents section. Contractors from past projects previously may have achieved this step via email, but you will now only need to submit the completed Form 1420 in order to maintain more consistency and expedite communication with CDOT projects and staff. Also, if your changes result in your overall contract goals not being met, you must also submit the accompanying waiver, Form 1416, as well. Complete the remaining required fields for the subcontractor, marked with red asterisks, and complete any additional desired information. If a lower tier subcontractor is in need of requesting a substitution of a hired subcontractor, they will need to reach out to their prime contractor to make the necessary changes in the utilization plan. In order to remove a subcontractor from your utilization plan entirely, first locate the subcontractor in the subcontractor list. Click the View link to the right of the subcontractor name, where you will be taken to the next screen where you will select Cancel to remove the subcontractor from the utilization plan. Enter the information relating to the removal of the subcontractor from the UP, including a brief comment explaining the decision. If the subcontractor you're removing from the utilization plan is a subcontractor counting towards your DBE goal, you will need to attach a completed Form 1420, the DBE Plan Modification form, in the Documents section. Also, if your changes result in your overall contract goals not being met, you will need to submit the accompanying waiver documentation, Form 1416, as well. Complete the remaining required fields for the subcontractor, marked with red asterisks, and complete any additional desired information. If a lower tier subcontractor is in need of requesting a removal of a hired subcontractor, they will need to reach out to their prime contractor to make the necessary changes to the utilization plan. Click the Save link to save your updates to this section and proceed to any changes to be made in Step 3. Form 1420 is a form CDOT requires to be included for any modifications to a utilization plan involving DBE participation. Prime contractors must submit a Form 1420 for any and all requests for termination, reduction, substitution, or a waiver granted for a utilization plan, and good cause for any of these changes must be provided for review. Please note that any differences or discrepancies between the DBE commitment information reported in the CDOT Form 1414 submitted with your bid proposal and the CDOT Form 1415 submitted with your utilization plan will require the inclusion of a completed Form 1420 containing a description and explanation of the discrepancies and any changes made to the DBE commitment. Remember, this is your chance to explain your efforts to meet your goals. Be detailed and thorough in describing your process in meeting your goals and why you feel the need to substitute or reduce the participation of this subcontractor. Prime contractors must provide notice of any intent to terminate or reduce a commitment to a DBE certified subcontractor, as well as allow 5 calendar days for the subcontractor to respond to this notice before submitting a Form 1420. Prime contractors are also expected to provide a copy of this notice to CDOT with their submitted documents. Step 3 of the utilization plan is only applicable in those instances when a prime contractor is unable to find enough certified subcontractors to meet their contractual DBE goals. In this case, the prime contractor will need to submit waiver request documentation. To attach any necessary waiver documentation, click the Attach Waiver Files link on the right side of the section. If you are fulfilling this step, this is where you will attach your Form 1416 Good Faith Effort Report. Begin by clicking Choose Files. Locate and select the Form 1416 file on your computer, or you can also drag and drop the file into the Drop Files Here section. Click Upload to finish uploading the form. Form 1416 is a form CDOT requires for primes to provide justification for any failure to meet their applicable contract goals and can be found under the DBE Forms and Resources section of the CDOT Business Center website. This form is submitted with the utilization plan only if the prime contractor has not met their DBE goal requirements. For this form, Prime contractors must provide documented evidence that the efforts made to procure certified subcontractors to meet the contract goals were those reasonably expected of a bidder if actively and aggressively trying to obtain DBE participation to meet contract goals. In reviewing requests for waiver from DBE goal requirements, CDOT considers multiple factors, including but not limited to the number and variety of solicitation attempts made, the diligence done in identifying subcontracting opportunities, and the number and variety of work codes searched when soliciting subcontractors. On this form, you can also provide a brief summary of your request to waive the contractual DBE goal, but this is optional. When finished, click Save Waiver Details to be taken back to the Utilization Plan page and proceed to Step 4. Step 4 of the Utilization Plan is where you will sign and submit your Utilization Plan for review by CDOT. Click the Submit Utilization Plan button to open the submission form. Complete the required fields indicated by a red asterisk. For your signature, enter your full name and provide your title and company name. Also, be sure to check the box to affirm the agreement. Click the Submit Utilization Plan button one more time to submit your utilization plan for review. Be aware that merely submitting this request to make changes to DBE participation does not constitute an automatic approval of these changes. Following review, you will receive a notification via email whether your utilization plan has been accepted or will need further modification. Subcontractors added to your utilization plan will receive a notification that they need to confirm their inclusion on the project. Subcontractors needing to confirm a utilization plan can find them on their dashboard on their B2G Now homepage under the Utilization Plan section. Subcontractors will complete the required information and the bottom portion of the Form 1415 and submit their confirmation for review. If you find that you need to make changes to your submitted utilization plan prior to that utilization plan's approval, please contact CDOT's DBE certifications team at dot-certifications@state.co.us. As a reminder, the previous process is applicable in the pre-award stages of the contract. If in the post-award stage, contractors find the need to change or update information pertaining to DBE commitments to the project, you will need to contact the project engineer and the regional civil rights specialist for that project. In addition, contractors will need to provide a completed Form 1420 to the project engineer and regional civil rights specialist outlining the requested changes. You will also need to include a completed Form 1415 if your change involves a substitution of a subcontractor or supplier. Be aware that submission of DBE commitment change forms is not an automatic approval of the changes. You will be notified by CDOT about whether the requested changes have been approved. If you have any questions about the material covered in this tutorial, please reach out to Catherine Wood, our Civil Rights and Subcontractor Compliance Specialist at leda.wood@state.co.us. That's Leda, Leeda.wood, WOOD, at state.co.us, or call 303-757-9234. We thank you for watching this tutorial on making changes to DBE participation. We look forward to working with you here at CDOT.